My name is Shakir Husain. I run a company called Creative Chaos, and Creative Chaos is a technology bank, as we like to call it. We employ 150 engineers who work on some very cool and innovative platforms that are used around the world. And I started the company in 2000. Prior to this, I worked for a private equity company until I decided that I didn't want to make money for other people, and I wanted to do my own thing and decided to roll the dice. I moved back to Pakistan in 2000 and started this up, and haven't looked back since.
So I understand your motivation for, coming out of a big company and going and doing that, but is there not the fear of, you're used to the paycheck every month and suddenly you're going to have this risk and you're responsible for everything?
Well, I think I was given great advice by an older friend. She's a banker, and she said, look, you're 24, you don't have any kids, you don't have any debt, and this is a great time to do it. And the worst case scenario is 6 months, it won't work out, and you'll shut down and go get a job. So I think failure is something that inherently, as human beings, we fear, but really we need to learn to embrace, because whether it's your life or your job, you will fail at times, and it's all right. I think as long as you learn from those mistakes and make new ones, I think that's the whole point.
Yeah. So failure is something that you've experienced with your
Oh, absolutely. I've been involved with a lot of startups since Creative Chaos, and some of them didn't work out, and you've got to be able to cut your losses and fold up and move on to the next one.
Okay. And all the skills that you got when you came into this from your previous life, were there any skills that you were lacking that you suddenly had to learn, whether it's...
Sure, I think one of the things that was really hard was asking people for money that was owed, outstanding bills, and you're polite about it, and someone else takes care of that, but you learn pretty fast. I think human beings are very adaptable, and if you're passionate about things, you take the time to learn those skills, and the skills you don't have, you'll hire people, your colleagues, make sure they complement your what you don't have, they have. So always work with smart people, I think.
And Shakir, the overall strategy, has it changed over time, or the actual idea of the business?
Absolutely, it changes because we're in the technology business. We have to evolve, and evolve or go extinct. So it's fun. I think every 6 months, 1 year, you're looking at your business plan for the year. But you know what they say about plans. So you have to be flexible, and you have to take it in stride, and the good and the bad. And that's how it is.
Yeah. So, are you going to keep creating new companies? Is this like an addiction?
Yeah, it is. I think it is. Once you get hooked to it, I think there's tremendous satisfaction in creating value. And coming from Pakistan, for me, it's always been about also having a social impact in terms of jobs and the people that you work with, making sure that their quality of life also improves. And these are things that I think, when you think about the world we live in and you look around, you have to be aware of them. And I think everyone has to do their bit.
Okay. Now, you mentioned at the beginning, you were 24 and your friend said you've got no risk, no liabilities. So let's suppose a friend comes to you and they're like my age, they're in their 40s,
Sure.
They've got a mortgage, they've got kids and university fees, and what about them? If they're going to start a business, what advice would you give them?
Well, look, I think you should follow your dreams at whatever age, and there's plenty of 40-year-olds or 50-year-olds who do make that switch. And I think you just have to be smarter about it. So whether it's your savings, how you manage them, and have like a stack of cash that will take you through a certain period, or how you raise money, how you bring in partners into the business. So maybe you're not as involved as you would like to be a little less involved, but have less of the company that you own. So there's a lot of ways to structure it. Now I know at 37 that I didn't know at 24. At 24, I think when you're younger, you can go all in, and
and what about other tips for running a successful business? Apart from the financial side, what other advice would you give a friend who was going to start a business?
Well, I think try not to do business with friends. That's something. I think one of the things I've learned is when you have investors, make sure that everything's written down and understood. And there's two times I think you run into these problems. One is when you're not making money, and the other is when you are making money. So, but yeah, otherwise just follow the basics. I think that's watch the cash flow. Get your. I mean, I think as entrepreneurs, we have to check ourselves as well. It's a lonely job, but you have to recognize what your strengths and weaknesses are. And when you really understand yourself, being able to, like I said earlier, find people who complement your skill set, I think that is very important. And to be able to let go of control and,
Okay. And is that normal for you, or are you the leader who says we're going to do this and you want to make all the decisions?
No, I think the person who's in charge of a particular task, they drive it. They might come for advice, but we like to sort of empower people that work with us and let teams run, make their own mistakes. If it's going to cost us a lot of money, I'll step in. But no, I've been very lucky to be working with some fantastic people, whether it's at Creative Chaos or whether it's my other ventures or partners or investors. I think it's been a good role so far.
Great. Well, look, thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
Always
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.